Hello, everybody. This is Coach Bala here. Welcome to the opening edition of our Reflections podcast series for season 14. Super exciting moment for me. Always, it's great to open up our Reflections podcast series every season because for those of you who are hearing it for the first time, this is our opportunity to connect with our friends, fellow runners, rock stars, luminaries from various, directly with running or somehow connected with running. We talk to them in a structured podcast manner, learn from them, and share those wonderful stories with all of us. And over the years, we've been doing this now for, I think it's a RHWB tradition. When we did our first season, we wanted to capture what the kids were thinking after one season of training. And the way we wanted to do that was just, those days it was just a simple audio recording on WhatsApp. So I just, called them around me and then switched on the WhatsApp and started recording and just asked them how you felt. And man, they told stories. And that was very inspiring for the rest of the runners. And that set us into this beautiful journey where we use this reflections platform to reflect on various tapestry of incredible stories that gets rolled out in RHWB on a regular basis. So it is with that theme, I am super, super excited to welcome three incredible women, beautiful, strong, and very successful women. And more importantly, all these three are some of the driving forces of RH. They've been with us for a long time in various capacities and can't wait to unfold their stories. And they've done something incredible just recently. So I want to talk about that as well and what we can learn from them. So before we get into all of that, let me start and invite each of them to come in and introduce themselves a little bit, and then we can go from there. Please go ahead.
Hey everyone, my name is Anjali Bhate. I live in Edison, New Jersey. I am with RHWB Runners High with Bala from last 5-6 years. I have done 4 half marathons and almost 6 10Ks. I am proudly saying that our family is RHWB family. My daughter started with RHWB, and that is how we all got involved one by one, each after another. And my husband is Akash Bhate. He's a race director for RHWB. I myself am taking care of finances and I'm chief financial officer for RHWB. But to be honest with you, I am ordinary, just mother of 2 kids, running around kids, taking care of a dog, taking care of mother-in-law, and doing a corporate job. I have never dreamt of doing anything extraordinary. Thank you, everyone.
Talking of extraordinary, ladies and gentlemen, Anjali is extraordinary in pretty much everything she does. Only extraordinary people have the confidence and humility to say that, no, I'm just a normal person. That just shows how extraordinary she is. She is the CFO for organization, and you won't get a more dialed in CFO. When I say dialed into the business needs. Typically, CFOs, they just look at numbers. But in an ideal world, if a CFO can literally dial into what is needed in the business, then they become a force. They become a force that can do, and that's what Anjali is. And I can keep going on and how she dials in to the needs of the runners, needs of the coaches, needs of the various other management team members, including myself. Asks herself, what can I do to support from a financial side? Which is, it's incredible. So thank you, Anjali, on behalf of all our runners. The things that you do behind the scenes to make this happen, like a very well-oiled machinery, and that's only because of you. And for me, you being there is the biggest support that I have in terms of, I know that come taxation season, Anjali is there to make it happen. So thank you for, on behalf of all of us, thank you for all things you do. Let's invite the next guest. Go ahead, Roopa.
Hey, I'm Roopa Rao. I'm a lifelong RHWB member. So I started as a cheerleader for my son, Pratham Rao, who used to run half marathons. And he ran few half marathons, sub 2 half marathons when he was 10 years old. So and then my husband started running, so I was cheerleading for him, and at the same time volunteering to do any kind of help I can in the RHWB events. And then you know how RHWB is. The spirit is very contagious. And finally, I was also bit by the running bug. And I too ran few half marathons and for RHWB. And later, due to some recurring injuries, I had to switch from running to walking. So, and boy, did that open up a brand new journey for me, a brand new world. And I was able to do walk quite a few half marathons and distances beyond that. And Bala and RHWB recognized that. And when they started the first walking program in RHWB, I was selected as the walking program director. I'm so proud of that. Thank you, Bala. And now in the second season of walking program, I'm one of the walking coaches. Thank you, Bala.
Incredible. What a beautiful story Rupa is. I mean, husband is a coach and runner. He's like Rupa's and Shankar's son Pratham. They're one of the sort of, I would say, the early kids who defined what RHWB could be. He was one of the sub two, I think, first maybe, or the first few who broke two and like in a half marathon, which is a massive milestone, as we all know. And that just showed that, oh my God, kids can do, then maybe others can do. And that's what happened. So many folks broke too. And it was like the first few folks who broke that benchmark within born and brought up runners within RHWB, so to speak. And we all know that we have set Pratham onto a path of health and fitness, and as he grows and as he gains more strength, and that's what he would do. We know that, we've seen that, so we are all very proud of what Pratham could do. And Rupa talked about the cheerleading. I remember it those days is just small, 40, 50, 60 people will run, and we had just few volunteers, and Rupa was one of them. She owned it. She just owned it. That area was, it was like runners going in and suddenly a burst of energy and happiness, and all runners felt so amazing. And that is when I already knew Rupa is here for a long time. And that's exactly what happened. So many years later, she's still there with that same positive energy. So thank you, Rupa, for all things you do and for your contributions in crafting the walking program for us. And you're doing an excellent job already as a walking coach. I can see the way you're shaping our walkers. And man, walking is something which I feel there will be a time when RSWB will be known for walkers than runners. I just feel that, because a lot of common people who are literally on the couch now, they would be easier for them to come and become a walker first before they become a runner, which is what we are trying to fill up the blank. It's just going to be, we already have 200 walkers this season, so it's just going up from there. So thank you, Rupa. And let's invite the third guest. Go ahead, Aarthi.
Right. Thank you, Bala. Anjali's and Rupa's introduction was amazing. I'm Aarthi Ramesh. I live in Princeton, New Jersey. I'm a certified running coach. This is RHWB. This is my third season coaching and my sixth season running. I joined RHWB in season 9 primarily to inspire my son, and both me and my son completed the first half marathon. And the next season, I was so hooked with the experience that I gained from RHWB that I signed up for a full marathon. And that was also another lovely experience. And I really enjoyed, I attribute everything to RHWB for all the experiences. And I'm super passionate about movement, mindset, and meaningful experiences. And I'm really thankful and grateful to be here today, Bala. Thank you.
Awesome, Aarti. And again, as with the remaining two, being a coach is a very special way of giving back. For someone who just started, did a couple of half marathons, and by the way, she didn't tell, she was also one of those race day volunteers that we all can depend on. She's there. She's there. She'll bring in the key thing, which was a generator, which we never knew that was even that art of generating our own power was something that we never thought of. And Aarti said, you know what, let me get my generator. That's how we got into, when all the New Jersey runners, when you look at the big arch, that arch was not possible without the generator that was there, and she's the one who initially used to bring her generators and man one of the pit stops. So yeah, I mean, it's even before a runner, she was giving a lot, and then she became a runner. She got a lot, and then she said, "No, I'm not. It's not enough for me now. I want to continue to give." And she's a coach. She's in 2-3 seasons now, and it's thank you, Aarthi, for all things you represent and all things you do for RHWB on behalf of all of us. So that is audience. That's the kind of the quality of people that I'm surrounded with, and I'm just very, very glad that I'm honored that I'm having these power ladies around me. But you know what? All three did something incredible just about a couple of months ago. And this entire podcast is about that, to kick off the Reflections podcast series. Now, people might think, oh, walking is what anybody can walk. Oh, yeah, of course, anybody can walk, but not everybody does it, though. Walking is, while walking is nice to go from your kitchen to, your bedroom and back, that walking is great. Maybe if you're feeling very adventurous, maybe you go and do an evening walk when the weather is great. I'm talking about folks who are sitting in the couch and watching TV, and when they think about walk, this is how typically the walking explanation is, right? Yeah, I'll go in an evening walk and just enjoy the breeze and come back. That is also walking, no doubt. But these three took it to the next level. Now, next multiple levels. And let's just first define what that is. So I'm going to invite Roopa. Roopa, can you just talk to me about, forget about what you guys did. What is the event that you all participated in 2-3 months ago? And tell us a little bit about what that is.
We all participated in a walk called the Great Saunter. It's a unique event. It's a 32-mile walk around the entire perimeter of Manhattan, hugging the city's waterfront. It starts and ends from Francis Tavern, and it's just not a race day. It's a full day experience. It is filled with energy. The sheer awe of seeing New York City from different vantage point. It's beautiful, and people from all over the world and all over New York, the US, sign up for this event. And it is such a unique event that it opens up in February on shorewalkers.org, and there are only 3,000 registrations that are allowed. And within few days these registrations run out. In 2024, when I tried to register, within a week it was over, so I could not register at that time. And so what I did was, this year I put a calendar event so that I get a reminder on February 1st, and I started looking for it, refreshing shorewalkers.org website. And once the registration opened, told everyone. I put it on the ladies ladies WhatsApp group everywhere, and told everyone to sign up for it. And within 3 days, all 3,000 entries were closed out. So it's a really unique experience, Bala, that you start it around 7 o'clock in the morning, and you are encouraged to complete it by 7 p.m. in the evening. I tell everyone, all the walkers, passionate walkers, this is a very good event. Please join it.
Oh my God. Okay. There are so much to unpack in all the things that you mentioned. So let me just give a few bullet points, summary level. First one is, in all these beautiful things that she mentioned, there is one key point that I hope it didn't get submerged. It is a 32-mile walk. It's a 50-kilometer walk. Let's just make sure that all of us digest that information. 50 kilometers is an ultra marathon category. 50 kilometers is an ultra marathon category. Your body typically starts disintegrating after mile 17, 18, maybe if you're really good, 20, which we call it the wall, right, for all full marathoners. Don't think that just because you're walking, there is no wall. Oh, 100% there is a wall, because at the end of the day, walking is also, people who are in engineering might understand what I'm going to say. There is a scientific term called work done. Work done is force times distance in an equation for, if back to engineering days. So the work done in walking, force times distance, is exactly the same as work done in full marathon or running, because the distance is the same. The energy that you need to expend to move that your mass along that distance is the same. The only difference is, in running, the intensity of force you're using is happening in 6 hours. In running, because you're walking slow, that force has to be extended to maybe double that, if for the same distance. But my point is, the work done is exactly the same. Maybe I would argue work done might be higher, because as you spend more time on your foot, your muscles need to hold your weight for longer time as opposed to running. So there's a lot of things going on in this, folks. So I just want to start off by saying 50 kilometers is like going from Edison to New York City and back. That's the kind of distances we are talking of here, which is nuts. Really huge. Then she talks about this entire round around Manhattan. That itself is another beautiful experience. It's not a small race, 3,000 folks, which gets quickly, looks like quickly registered. So it's a celebration of life that's happening out there through a lens of a long distance walking. So it's not for the faint hearted. And that's why these three are iron ladies, and that's why these three are here. So, with all of that, let's just step back even a couple months before this event, Rupa, and this is a question for all of you. We can start with Aarthi. So, Aarthi, when you signed up for this, and I'm sure none of you underestimated this event. You guys have been running for some time, so you know what it takes to do endurance kind of activity. So, what were your thoughts? Why did you even sign up? Let's start with the why. Why did you sign up for an event after running a full marathon?
Right. Actually, this walk actually takes me back about 10 years to 2015 when I was working for Goldman Sachs in Bangalore, and I took part in this Oxfam Trail Walker Challenge. It was a 50K walk through the outskirts of the city, and that experience had a lasting impression on me, not just because of the physical challenge, but because of the people and the stories that I encountered along the way. So I still remember walking through those villages where curious locals would stop us and ask, "Why are you doing this? You could have just donated the money, right?" And one of the souls was just handing out fresh tender coconut to all of us, all the workers there, and not even charging. So he was just doing to support us for the cause. So that moment I realized that reminded me of how movement, even if it is simple like walking, can spark meaningful connections and shift our perspective. So back then, I chose to do 50K, and we had an option to do a full 100. And honestly, I sometimes feel that I always wonder if I should have done that 100 back then. So for me, this 32K walk was like a continuation to the journey where I left off. And, both challenging both physically and emotionally. So that was the reason why I signed up for this.
So I will tell the reason why. There are two reasons actually. I wanted to test myself and I wanted to explore myself. So when I say I wanted to test myself, I wanted to test myself emotionally, physically, and mentally. So I have done 4 half marathons, so I knew that experience. But for a longer duration of time, whether do I have that grit, do I have that determination, do I have the resilience, can I sustain? I really wanted to push my own body, push my own limits, and do something which I have never dreamt of. That was the first reason. And second reason, I really wanted to explore myself. So I decided while exploring the New York City, I can go with my feet. I can experience my own breath. I can experience my own aching legs, and I can experience myself. So that was my way to explore myself. And that's the reason I really wanted to do this.
Wow, what a beautiful, really wonderful, powerful reasons. Rupa, why?
When I switched from running to walking, and I did quite a few, long distance walking, and I called myself the long distance endurance walker, this kind of felt like the right next challenge, next milestone in my walking journey. So, this was like a full day commitment, right? It is a good blend of energy and endurance, grit and joy. And I wanted to prove to myself whether I will be able to do it and able to do a marathon. And at the same time, to see that New York City is such a unique fashion, right? To actually go on the streets of New York City and be able to see it, experience it. I really wanted to do that, Bala.
So, there are about 300 brand new human beings, close to 300 in this season. Probably a large portion of them will also be hearing this. And there are some pretty incredible insights that comes out of the wide answer from all these three ladies. Now, if you think about Aarti's answer, she was, there was a spark in her life sometime back in the past that was always kind of, giving that signal, hey, this is something you should do, this is something you should do. So instead of ignoring it, she was always keeping that in mind. And when an opportunity came, she just grabbed it. Now, this spark Never lose that spark. We all get inspired in various ways, in various human beings, occasions, mentors, whatever. Not now, but in the past. And we all go through that journey. The goal is keep that spark alive. You never know when that spark will get, satiated. In fact, there's a story on Jafar. Jafar had this spark of climbing Everest when he was, if you read his book, I think probably when he was in sixth grade or something. When he wanted to climb Everest for no reason, he suddenly saw the Everest and said, I want to climb. That spark, he maintained it. Till, man, at the age of 58, when he was a grandfather, he went and summited Everest, which is unbelievable. But that's the lesson that comes out of Aarti's sort of why. And when you look at Anjali, her why, as I summarize it, is never accept status quo. Always keep challenging. And the beauty about RHWB is that it gives you the platform to challenge because we are okay with failures. When you start challenging status quo, you have to accept failure because it will happen. You can't, like, if challenging status quo is so easy, then everybody will challenge the status quo. You have to accept failures as part and parcel of the decision to challenge status quo. Could be medical, could be so many different ways. But the audacity to challenge the status quo happens when you are in this done couple of half marathons. Then you realize that you have never done it before. And then boom, you're able to do it. You saw your own daughter coming and doing a full marathon when she struggled for her first 5K just 3-4 years ago. And these are the things that goes into the head. So these are the things that we believe creates amazing human beings. And that's why RHWB is not about running. It is about the way you approach things in life. That confidence, that self-confidence. And that's really what Roopa is talking about. I want to do it to see what I can experience, something that I've never experienced before. Those are all key themes, folks, that comes out of this why. And I congratulate all these three ladies to sort of not let it go and just keep at it. Yeah. So now let us switch gears and let's start with you, Anjali. You got a why. You have signed up for this crazy stuff. And I am sure you must be like, that this is not simple. You got to train for it properly. You got to do this properly. So why don't you walk us through like your training regimen? How did it flow? How did it how was it different from maybe training for a half marathon? What all things you did?
So I will say, how did I prepare? So don't just jump on registration and start walking on the day of Saunter walk. I will say prepare, prepare, prepare. So there are wonderful coaches with RHWB, and I will name all of them as I unfold this. So I will say there are two things in this: planning, and another thing is execution. I will say, kind of like training. So in the planning, you have to train the walk, then you have to do the strength training, and the third thing is nutrition. These three things are very, very, very important. So while unfolding this walking program or training for that, our coach Suja, coach Manoj, coach Sharik, all of them gave me the plan. All of them helped me. They literally sat down and gave us the plan. So how you can do from walking from 5 miles and 10 miles, 15, 20, 25. How will you train yourself in those duration of time and make yourself ready for that? Strength training, Indu and Naina were the coaches who were giving the entire training of what you can do, how can you prepare yourself, how can you prepare entire your body for doing this walk. And then nutrition, of course, Saujanya was there, Coach Manoj was there. Being a vegetarian person, you can still do it. It's nothing like that you will miss something. So they were giving the entire training of nutrition as well. And with all these preparations and with the right mindset, you can definitely do it. That's what I felt, that I was not ready for it. I wasn't looking forward to it. It is not my kind of gig. I'm really normal person. I don't know whether I will be able to sustain. But with this training, with their path, with their navigation, and literally coaching every week, pushing myself towards the end goal. So I literally give all the credits to all our wonderful coaches.
Wow. And when you think about it, how long was the training program? Was it the usual 16 weeks or was it more than that, less than that?
I will say it was kind of same way,
Okay.
because in February we registered and the walk was on the May first week. So 3 months of training period we had, and within these 3 months they literally executed it.
It was this awesome plan that Suja prepared for us, the structured training plan that she gave us. So, with gradual increase in the mileage, like weekday mileage and weekends mileage, and some of the tips that she gave us, like, about doing like back to back walks on Saturday and Sunday to push yourself to improve your endurance. And another thing was that I followed was to make sure that I kept my miles within 20 minutes, so that I'm able to sustain, be on my feet for long. So not walk fast and lose all my energy, but to be able to consistently do 20-minute mile or little less than 20-minute mile every mile. So those were some of the things. Yoga, I started doing yoga 2 times a week, so to keep my muscles loose and stretch my muscles, and it that helped a lot. Even the day of the race day, also in the morning we got up early and we did the yoga and made sure that we are like quite prepared for it. And another thing that I did was the taking the magnesium supplements, Bala. So that was very useful. Like a few weeks before the actual race, we took that magnesium tablet that helped us with the cramps a lot. And all the electrolytes and anything that we would plan to take on that day, we would actually take for our long walks. So we fully simulated our long walks as if it's a race day, with the same kind of gear, with the same kind of energy, and the same kind of discipline. So that is, the structured training program, simulating the actual race day event on your long walks. That helped a lot.
Interesting. And then I'm assuming same as running, you would have gone slowly, slowly and increased it and went into peak meso kind of a scenario and come. So what were the typical, call it the long walk weekends towards the end of the training? Like how many long walks and what is the distance you guys did?
The longest walk I did was the 21 miler,
21
on
miles
a
of walk. Okay.
21 miles. So that was one I did. And previous to that, we had done 19 and 17 and other distances. But the 21 was like slowly, gradually it increased to 21 over
So
the
let's,
12-week period.
I mean, look at this, folks. Commitment. We talk about commitment, right? 20 miles at 20 minutes. What are we looking at? 400 minutes, which is what? 5 hours is how many? Like you're looking at 6.5 hours, I think, right? 6.5, 7 hours of a weekend walk. 7 hours. And this is not even a race day. There is no motivation. You are just walking alone. Keep going for 7 hours. This is not for the faint-hearted. That's why I'm telling you. You got to put yourself in the shoe to figure out like a 50-kilometer walk doesn't happen just like that. You got to train. You got to put in the yards. And in this walking phase, you have to put in a lot of alone me time. I'm sure the 7 hours would have been valuable. You thinking through many things and you're in your own zone and all that nice stuff. But still, 7 hours is a long time. So phenomenal. And Aarthi, how was yours? How was your training experience within all this?
I think they both, Anjali and Roopa, reflected this everything. Like for me, since I was also training for half, so it was more like adding more distance, just doing a lot more walks. And again, I just, along with my husband, we would do progressively. We, increased our load, and we tapered. We went up to 21 miles, and then we tapered down 3 weeks before the race day. And otherwise, it was more on the fitness terms. During the week, it was more training, strength training and doing small walks. So that was the goal. So pretty much, since I was training for half, so it was not much of a difference, but the long walks did make a difference. Yeah. So over the weekends.
Of course. And Anjali, when you look back at your training, was there anything that surprised you as given you've done running seasons for half marathon seasons also you've done in terms of training, but this is a different ball game. So was there anything that surprised you in the walk, ultra marathon walk training?
Definitely, definitely. Because after 13 miles of walk, I'm like, okay, this is what I have done. But every step after that, I've never done it before. So I was really happy about it. But as Rupa said, when we did our long walk for 21 miles, I was literally counting my steps. And as soon as the 21-mile walk is done, I'm like turning off my watch and not moving at all.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
When you are again reflecting back, are there any moments maybe I've bitten more than I can chew kind of a scenario? Did you have any such experience?
Yes, every long walk felt like that because at the end of the walk, I would be so tired. I would think, is it possible when I did my 16 miler? I would think, is it possible? Can I do 18? Next week, I'm supposed to do 18. Can I really do it? And then, can I do 21 miles? And after 21 miles, I was so tired. Oh gosh, will I really be able to do 32 miles? It's like you kind of question yourself, but at the same time, you have to believe in the training. You have to believe in yourself, in your endurance. And there was one more thing, Bala, that not many people really realize, that you cannot have any pictures. Usually when we do our walks, we listen to music, we listen to podcasts, we keep our minds out. But here you cannot do that because it is a 11 hour or 10 hour plus, endurance thing. So your battery will run out. So you're trying to save your battery. So you can't have any kind of like a distraction or something to take your mind off. This is completely, you have to go within and have nothing, no crutches with you, and be able to do it. So that is one thing that I do want to tell everyone who are
Wow.
listening to it. So get used to that.
Very true. Very true. See, that's why this is true endurance. This is true endurance. It's one thing to go run and finish your full marathon sub 4 and then get it done with and then clap others. There is no such thing here. The minimum is 10 hours. You have to walk on the race day. Maybe 9 hours if you're really fast walker. But who wants to come there and do a jog? The whole idea is to walk. So you're talking of 18 minutes kind of a thing. So Aarti, like maybe you can touch on this question as well as the next question I'm asking you, which is you've done a full marathon as well. So you're not new to sort of pushing your body to its limit a little bit. But I know this is a different kind of limit because it's also patience, and mental limit is also how long you can keep doing the same thing. That is, it never ends kind of a scenario. So how did you prepare for that mental endurance portion that probably your full marathon thing helped you? And then how was your pre-race day prep, the day before and the day in the morning? How did that go?
Right. For me, this race was mainly to bring my husband along. To get him to finish the race was my challenge as a coach. I wanted to make sure that he did it. And having done the 50K before that, again, it's all about the mental game. I just feel all of these long races, it's more on the mind versus body. It's the mental strength which takes over. So in this case, the confidence that I've done it with was there with me that I can do this 50K again. But I was a little worried about my husband, like whether he will be able to be able to finish the race together. So that was the main key thing, but ensured that he did the training properly. Like we went aggressive overload, making sure that he did his miles and those things we took care and made sure that strength training was also attributed. We're doing that properly. So, but in terms of like what Rupa mentioned, started taking magnesium, started taking hydrating well, and preparing the body for the race, right? Like making sure that mentally you are ready for it. And the previous day, again, the same thing. Follow the same principles like what you do for any full marathon or any marathon preparation, like overload and the previous day. And then where one thing was very clear that we decided that we won't be going after the time goal, but it was more about the experience. We're going to enjoy that race. And it's more about celebration, like what you said, it's endurance, being in the city, and being with the people and doing the race. So that was uh, our goal. So the race day, it turned out to be a very beautiful day. It was cool and breezy, and we reached there around 8 a.m. And the energy at the start line was electric. There were people from all walks of life. There were solo walkers, families with kids, walking clubs with matching t-shirts. And I just met the group of women, about 15 of them from Boston showed up there. They were all in all ages. Everybody is so excited. That energy itself drives you to, it gives you that good vibration to start. And on top of it, the trail of the NYC, what they put together for this race was really beautiful. So we passed through the kids playing baseball on the riverside, stumbled upon quiet community gardens, and you found these pockets of nature which was tucked within the in the middle of the city. So in all, like having lived so close to New York City for so many years, but I was still discovering these new places, new corners within the city itself. So, that experience was good, but I don't know whether, should I continue with the experience, or are you just are you just going on into that? Yeah, yeah. So the guess, right.
I guess there was a lot of thought going on behind the mind that I'm ready for it. I have prepared myself. I'm taking efforts. I have trained myself very well. And looking forward that day, I was anxious. I was nervous. I wasn't sure that I will be able to finish it. But since the day ahead of time, when we went to the New York City, we stayed over there. There was a lot of energy itself in the night as well. We saw so many walkers over there, and they all were looking forward to it. So that gave me a lot of energy that, okay, we are getting ready and we are in that adventure together. So starting from the day before, there was already electricity in the air.
Understood. Were you able to sleep that night?
We stayed in the Sheraton Hotel over there.
Yeah, but were you able to sleep that night?
No, not at all.
You couldn't sleep. Huh? Too much excitement for tomorrow. Rupa, how was yours? The previous night and the race day morning.
So the previous night, as Aarthi said, we did do the a carb overload, and it was great idea of Anjali, who said, right, hey, in the morning commuting to New York City and figuring out the logistics and going there at 7 o'clock is may not work out. So let's book a hotel and we'll stay overnight. That was one of the best decisions, Bala. So, but the day before we went to New York City, put our bags, walked around New York City, went to a nice Thai Mexican place. We had nice tacos and burritos and had a nice carb load. Peacefully went to sleep, and then we could get up early in the morning, do our yoga, do our stretches, get ready, and were able to be at the starting line at 6:45.
Brilliant.
So perfect.
Brilliant. So audience, there's a couple of things I want to make sure I see when you do these kind of activities, running, walking, golfing, you name it, many different type of such things that RHWB encourages people to do. Going out for marathon vacations or doing yoga right now. Yoga is something that it has come into the to our. I know Aarthi is a yoga teacher as well, as in addition to being a running coach. But yoga is something that came into the lexicon of RHWB maybe 3-4 seasons ago. When we partnered with Fitness Kriya, and so many of us do yoga, and it has definitely given us a lot of benefits, which we all know. Yoga is a brilliant thing. But when you think about all of that, different types of activities we do, one thing that these activities sort of does is it introduces you to a new world that you didn't even know that existed till you realized, let me get into this world. Like, for instance, when I hear Anjali or Roopa say that, hey, there were so many excited walkers in the morning and they were all like talking and walking clubs and all. I'm sure many of the runners wouldn't have even realized that walking is its own ecosystem out there. It's a massive ecosystem. Walking is a massive ecosystem. And I would venture to guess that the number of walkers who will be ready to do all these kind of things is maybe next the number of runners. It's just that the world is catching up to create these walkers, and that's why I'm super excited to kickstart the season with this theme. Walking is something human beings are known to be walkers first, because that was the fundamental mobility. Of course, running and all that happened as next step, but walking was the foundation. And it's just incredible that we are getting a glimpse of that world. So that's one. And then the second thing, if you notice, this is a massive event. 50 kilometers, whether you train for it or not, all three are entering uncharted territory. In many ways, it's in a very uncharted territory. And it requires a certain experience, which all these three luckily had in their running journey. How to handle a race day, jitters. So why I'm trying to say that is, again, those of you who are listening, don't think that I'll go and sign up and then it'll be just a walk in the park. Sorry, it is walk in literal terms, but it is not walk in the park in terms of the meaning. It is very difficult to do this if you are not trained properly and thought through this properly. It's a structure, it's a science in it. And that's what we're going to talk about, talking to this. So Roopa, you should start first. When you look back at that day, You said you are at the start line at 6:30. The race starts at 8 o'clock. You said, let's start the race and talk to me about how did maybe the first part of your race, how did it go?
So the race, this Great Saunter, they kind of say between 7 to 9, you can start anytime. So we thought we were like, we wanted to start first and early. We wanted to be early birds. So we came there at 6:45 and thought we would be one of the few first starters. No, there were 1,000 people in front of us. There was a long you know so everybody thought the same thing, so we had 1,000 people in front of us. We stood in a line. The line moved really fast, and at the end of the line we were given the map, the directions of the walk, and they gave us the pin and a cap, and then they said, yeah, now you can get started. So this beginning was like we were like very happy, enthusiastic, chatting away,
And
and they were
all
like,
three were walking together, or there were, how?
Anjali and I, we started walking together, and there were like other people. Aarthi joined a little bit later. She commuted from New Jersey, so she joined later. But Anjali and I, we were together, and there were like 1,000 people around us, like people from, we even met some, walkers who were staying in the hotel with us. So we walked, all of us, we walked together. We came there, and then we started walking. So the one of the main advantages of starting early was because we were with the sea of walkers, so we didn't have to look too much in the map and may figure out the directions and all. We were just with the sea of the walkers, we were just doing it. The energy, early morning energy, the buzz, it was like so infectious and so happy and joyful. So we didn't even feel like anything. And the one another thing I want to point out was it was very well organized, Bala. So at different points, they had all these volunteers who were giving away apples, who were giving away energy bars, water, and all the places we stopped by every few miles, there were these water fountains where you could fill in water. And so it was really very well organized. And because we started off early at around 7 a.m. itself, we were not left behind. We were not like trying to catch up. We were always with everyone. So it was a very nice experience, and it was a very easy experience for me.
Got it. So, like, say 0 to 15 miles, you were able to move through with energy and all the enthusiasm and preparation and everything. So, Anjali, how is the anything to add for the 0 to 15 miles portion of it?
0 to 15 miles, I will just add one more thing that when we were catching up with others and talking with others, I realized that there are people around me. And one of the family, they had 75-year-old parents. They were going to also walk with us for all 32 miles, and they were also looking forward. And I realized that age has nothing to do with walking.
Of course.
We were so excited, like looking at them, it really gave me goosebumps as well as energy.
Amazing. Amazing. Uh,
Yeah, so just again, I want to highlight a few things here. One is like, as you said, it's not a walk in the park, right? Like just go and start walking. So Ramesh and I trained, my husband Ramesh and I trained for this, and between he had to go to India for 4 weeks, and during that his training schedule was impacted. So that was definitely shown on the race day. Somewhere around mile 21, my husband he hit a wall, a bit of a wall, you could say. He looked at me and he said, "Why are we doing this again? What's the purpose of this here? Who voluntarily walks for this long?" And all those things started coming. So, and I couldn't help but just laugh like what I'm laughing now. But we encouraged each other, and then we took a snack break. We, started our journey again. We started walking slowly. By the time we crossed the finish line, he was not only energized.
so, I mean, the theme that I'm hearing, right, from all of you is that this is a this is a long term effort, in the day. It's not like first time you get excited, we tell all our runners like start slow, go slower, because the real deal is in the this gets even more exacerbated here because you are talking off when Ramesh, you said, got his hit a light wall at 21 miles. Man, he's not looking at 5 more miles, he's looking at another 12, 13 miles from that point, which is just
Right.
ridiculous when it comes to from his thought process, and it's in my thought process too. Probably another 10 miles at 20 minutes distance is what, another 200 minutes, another 3 hours of walking is there from that point. As opposed to a full marathoner, maybe just 5 more miles, you run at 12 minutes a mile, you finish it in an hour and you're done with it. You are talking of 3 hours post wall scenario, which is not easy in any stretch of imagination. So we'll come to the final part shortly. So Rupa, one question I had was, when you saw all these folks just jubilant and walking, I mean, walking by very nature, you can have conversations and all, right? Because you can do that. Running, you can't do that, nor is it good to do it because you can't like waste your energy. But were people talking to each other and yapping, or it was initially that and then everyone then hunkered down into a rhythm of walking? How did it work?
I agree with you. So in the beginning, everybody were very chatty, and even me, Anjali, and I, we were talking a lot. So, but as in 15 plus miles, progressed, our energy was a little bit down. We wanted to conserve our energy, so we would only talk when it was necessary. And during that, our walking style was different, Bala. So Anjali was like more of a consistent walker. I had trained myself in such a way that I would walk point 0.9 miles and run point 0.1 miles so that I
Oh, you
can
used to run
conserve.
also. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I did that walk, run kind of a thing. So, but even then, Anjali and we were together. Even though I would run and go a little bit ahead, Anjali would catch up with me. So, and all of this, mostly we did it very quietly. There was this kind of like a tacit understanding between us. Mentally, we were connected. We didn't have to talk or say how we are feeling. Only, yeah, so only some really urgent or emergency thing we used to tell, like Anjali would say, hey, this is around 15, 16 mile, let's reapply the Vaseline. So we took a break, we reapplied the Vaseline all around us.
That's a big deal. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, and then around like 24, 25 miles, I told her, hey, I think we should change our socks. I'm feeling like, little bit of blister coming. So we changed socks. So that way there was like, we couldn't talk because we wanted to conserve our energy, but mentally we were together. We were with each other. So we would find each other, even though we would like kind of like split about, but then we would always come together. So it was a very unique experience, Bala.
Got it. So Anjali, when you now look at that portion, before we get to we'll talk about the last 5 miles as the last part of this discussion. But when you look between say mile 20 and mile 30, like the grunt work that needs to happen, where you have walked already for 20 miles. That means you already walked for I don't know what 20 times to 20 miles times 20 minutes, 400 minutes. That's like what 6 hours you already walked by that time. So 6 hours to another 3 hours probably is the mile 20 to mile 30. Another 3 hours where you know that the end is nowhere near. Grunt work. This is the grunt work portion of this walk where Rameshes of the world is asking, why the hell am I doing this nonsense? Right? I'm sure that same thing is going in your mind also. I've seen New York City, I'm done with it, I just want to go home. These kind of thoughts might be there. How did you deal with it, Anjali, mile 20 to mile 30?
So mile 20 to 30, I will break it apart from 0 to 15. It was really beautiful experience. We were not tired, energy was high, everybody was chatty, right? And after 15 miles, plus this is not a race, so everybody walks on their own pace. Some people take break in between, some people eat snacks, some people are just taking a break, right? So after 15 miles, you're separated from other walkers. You won't see those groups of walkers coming along together, right? So we were kind of little separated from other walkers. There are very few on the street you will see. Plus, you will see that is a long street. It's getting hot. It was humid. It was not easy day. And at that time, we felt like after around 20 miles, we thought that we are kind of getting separated from many walkers. And all of a sudden, I don't know from where, but we had the Saunter walk leader. We just saw the walk leader. On her backpack, it was written as walk leader. And that gave us kind of a torch after 20 miles. Our feet were tired, our legs are hurting. We are looking for some energy source. And all of a sudden, that Saunter walker started walking with us, and they were kind of like walk leaders. They have done multiple of those. So we started walking with them, and at that same time they were giving us entire historical knowledge as well as along the sides. This is this building, this is the Met Stadium, this is the museum. And that really gave us the push for almost like 6 7 miles,
I see.
and that really helped us. Also, another thing is that we planned that Shankar and Akash will join us from 25 miles, and from 25 till 28 miles, they were not in vision. So we started like cursing also that they told us they will bring coffee, they will get us fruits, they were going to hold the bags, and where are they?
The husbands are
So that
always the
happened
reason.
between that mile.
Husbands are the reason for such motivations. Motivations can happen in
Yeah.
rage as well, also as happiness. It looks like this is 3 miles went by with just focus on
Hmm.
rage for now.
Yeah,
But I
so
can
we were
imagine.
literally looking for that torch to hold, and around 28 miles, both of them showed us. And they literally took our backpacks. They were like, oh, here is coffee, here are your fruits, whatever you needed at this point, right? And that is how our journey began from 28 miles. So it kind of gave us the pleasant surprise. At the same time, they were there to help us. So it really helped. But at the same time, I will say that we were in pain. We started looking like zombies as well. But at the same time, there was some happiness inside that we finished full marathon, and now we are ultra marathon walker. So
Unbelievable. You
that,
crossed the
that
26 mile, of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Huge.
yeah,
That's a huge mental thing, of course.
yeah,
My
yeah,
God.
yeah.
So this one, let's go a quick round with all three of you. We'll start with you, Aarthi, because you began touching that portion a little bit, which is walk us through the last whatever 1 hour, whatever time that makes where your end is near, but it's not near, and finally the end is near, and then you cross the line. How was all of that? You're on mute.
Right. So ensured that Ramesh was taken care of, right? Like he had his nut break. We took a good, Morton gel. And then we were inspired by an old man, like Anjali said, there were quite a few of them in that age group, 70 to 80 years also. So one of them we spoke to, he said he was doing it for the 10th time and he was 78 years old. He said that every year he does it.
Wow.
And that there's a trick, like, it just gives you that switch of mind. If he can do it, we can do it, right? And that itself as a good switch. And Ramesh also, we started walking. We knew that the end is near. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. Took it easy. Took a lot of pictures, and we crossed the finish line. You can say, right? Like it was beautiful experience. And as the sun was setting, and again, everyone is in that mode of just going and finishing up the race. So that energy itself drives you, that pushes you forward. And then as soon as we crossed the finish line, that's the main thing where I was amazed to see Ramesh was energized and smiling and he was bragging about it. So that is for me a mission accomplished and we did it. It was more like, it's this, especially this experience is all about endurance, community, and, celebrating that experience altogether. Exploring New York City. So New York City, that itself was a beautiful trail. Altogether, it was a beautiful experience. I highly recommend everybody to try if you're sitting in the sidelines.
Amazing. How long it
Yeah,
took for
so
you
it
from
was
start to finish?
so it was 11 and a half hours. We took, I think, 11, yeah.
And a
So we
half.
took a lot of breaks. We took a long lunch break and, took all these pictures and snack break, water breaks. And then it was a great experience, though. Yeah. So totally. But the next day was good, though. Fully energy. The energy was really still, very high and could not sleep well.
Incredible.
So it is a great experience.
Incredible. Congratulations, Aarthi. Rupa, how was yours?
So the whole time when we trained for it, it was a cold weather. So we expected that early May 3rd would be a cold, relatively cold one. But it turned out to be a really humid, hot day. So we had not trained for it. So that was a little bit of a curveball at us. So, but as Anjali said, we met the walk leaders at the right time. So they were like a godsend for us. So the moment we saw them, just joined them. And from then on, we didn't have to figure out the map. We didn't have to figure out the inner streets of New York City. You just keep pace with them, and they were not too fast or too slow. They were walking at very good pace that we could keep up. So we just kept walking behind them, and they would share some anecdotes. They trained to walk for this because they had to go through this whole journey many times before to become walk leaders. So they talked about that. So all that gave us like good energy. And finally, Shankar and Akash show up with the much needed coffee. Coffee perked me up. And then he also had, peanut butter jelly sandwich with him. I didn't want any, but he did. Poor guy, he had prepared that for both Anjali and I, with a lot of ghee. So that was our lunch actually. So we had it, we had already had it. So we had our coffee. The moment we saw, we gave our backs to them. And then they said, yes, from now on, we are like, it was almost like a home run. Now this is all now, home stretch. We'll be able to do it. So that was very nice. It was a happy experience. And then, we were able to do this with Shankar the last, 8, 9 miles. It was really good. But there was one more curveball that was thrown at us. It was actually not 32 miles. It was 35 and a half miles. It turned out to be that.
Every mile after 30 mile is not easy. Every mile is like you can multiply that by 3. That is the extra distance you have to go after 30, after 26 only. Why only 30? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Incredible. How long it took
So
for you to finish?
So it was a 11-mile one. But what we thought was Anjali and I, the moment we did 26.2 miles, we looked at each other and we said, we did our marathon. This was our first marathon. We
Of
congratulated
course.
each other. So even any 1 mile that we do over this is an ultra marathon. So this is, we were like, we had something of a milestone to look forward to. So it was a really nice experience. Finally, we completed it. So it was very nice, Bala.
Congratulations. What a story. What a story. Anjali, how was your last 5 miles?
So I will say the last stretch, the last 2 miles, everybody, it was kind of like a celebration party on the New York State. Everybody was cheering, everybody was clapping, everybody just like giving you high five and telling you that you are done, almost done, almost done. So those last 2 miles was kind of like flying in the air. I did not even realize that I was walking. Yeah, it took me almost 11 hours and I wasn't feeling the pain. I guess I would have done another 2 miles if that same energy continued. It was one of the greatest experience of life.
In the past, when you were kids, right now, if somebody forces me to sleep for 11 hours, I can't do it. Just lie on the bed for 11 hours. So this is when, why I'm trying to say is even that is difficult. Walking around in humid New York City around for 11 hours at 35 miles, it's something beyond. It's something beyond. It's as big as anything that we all have, heard in other places and other corners. So, guys, congratulations on behalf of all of us at RHWB for setting another high water mark on the walking side of things. And I'm sure there's a lot of walkers who would definitely listen to this podcast, and of course, runners too. They all might get inspired, and I am actually getting inspired to maybe try this out once. I know it's I have to train it and go for it, but maybe best is like what Aarthi did: train for a full marathon, finish it, and then you can continue with that effort, and then try to do a walking marathon, which I really want to try that out. I'll connect with you guys separately to see how to sign up, etc. But congratulations on seriously huge achievement, and you guys came out, and I'm sure next day was a lot of recovery day, and you guys had to spend a couple of days to just get back to normal. What is one maybe we'll do will as we are approaching the end as well. So why don't you all like think about new runners, new walkers? There's so many of them in this season. What words of advice you would give based on your experience for anyone who is thinking about doing something similar? Maybe you can start with Aarti.
Yeah, so I would say that mental strength beats physical limits, right? So that is the main thing. So if anybody wants to do it, you'll be surprised that if you're sitting on the sidelines, just challenge yourself, have that goal, and you'll be amazed, you'll be surprised with that, right? You will be able to achieve it. So that's what one thing I would say. And another is when people come together with shared purpose, there's something beautiful happens. So it is that energy which drives you. It's like how our energy is the one which is pulling everybody, right? The similar thing. Any of these community challenges, it really pushes you and it gives you that confidence and it pushes you forward. So try. I'd
100% agree.
definitely advise.
100% great words of advice. Anjali?
I will say it really takes entire village to raise a child. So it is a similar kind of experience. It definitely needs support from yourself within, support from your family, all the coaching, all the support from all the coaches as well. And that is how you will prepare yourself. So prepare, and any ordinary person can definitely do this.
Absolutely. I think it's a great. Yeah, it all comes down to taking it seriously. Once you commit, you have to take it seriously. These are big ticket items. Don't ever think it's walking, so it's okay. I can manage it last minute. No, nothing doesn't happen like that. Rupa?
So, what would me, knowing all this, would advise Rupa before May is these things. Train with the right gear, with the actual gear that you will be using that day. Train with that, and stay as long on your feet as possible. Being on your feet is equal to the mileage that you do, and then try to stay overnight in a hotel so that in the morning you are bright, and you can you are not worried about the logistics of how do I reach the race event. Start early. So if even if they say from 7 to 9, don't keep that. Start at 7 a.m. You be one of the early people to start out, so that helps. Have change of socks, and have lot of Vaseline, apply Vaseline on all the friction points, right? And then don't overpack. They provide you the water, they give you all the energy bars, you don't have to carry that. So trust them to be able to give you all that. So do yourself a favor, don't carry all those things.
Wow. Wonderful, super tactical, very clean. Like you can put it in a checklist and just make sure that all this is done. Wow. It felt like I myself did it along with all of you. It just, as you guys were recounting your journey, I knew that you guys did something incredible, but I didn't realize how big this is. And this conversation really gave me the insight and the light onto what this could be. Again, guys, on behalf of all of us, absolutely a brilliant achievement and setting at the high water mark, as I said, for our community. So keep doing up the good work. Thanks for inspiring. Thanks for leading. So many of the walkers that I'm sure will. I'm sure this is. We're going to hear more and more of these people who are doing this. I can see that. I can clearly see that happening. So continue to do that. Maybe Aarthi, you were dabbling with 100K as well. Maybe this is a good time to go for that. Now that you have finished the 50K.
I finished it. I've finished 100K now, 50 and 50. I'm done with that.
But thank you so much, folks, for your time and your thoughts. I'm sure it'll be a super useful, valuable time for all our listeners. And check it out. And of course, you're always open to feedback. So go for it and give it to us. And thank you again, ladies. Let's keep the good fight going. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bala, for the opportunity.
Of course.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.